Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is one video that I have been meaning to make since such a long time. You guys have no clue. Honestly, this has been one topic that's been rolling in my head ever since I've got certain comments and certain people DMing me and telling me that they like my recommendation, and they actually commented stating that I love how you read different books or may not mainstream books. And it don't get me wrong, it makes me feel very nice that people actually listen to me and people watch my videos. It makes me feel all mushy inside, to be honest. But that being said, it's just that yeah, I mean, this is the main thing, right? Like, whenever I pick up books, I pick up books that challenge my mindset. I pick up books that I think will add to my thinking process. I pick up books that I think will improve my life, and not only like on a professional front or not only on like a personal front, but more like on a societal front, where I am like thinking about a lot of things, including history, politics, and all of that. Ignore that. Anyway, like all of that stuff basically. So, in short, this is a video which will in which I will tell you how can you become a better reader. Now, better reader is always subjective, but for me, I think in my head, a better reader means someone who picks up challenging books and someone who picks up books that actually kind of change their mindset or change their thinking process in some way or the other. Now, before I get started, let me just put this huge disclaimer out there. Now, unrelated story. I am an engineer. Okay, I'm an engineer who works in the telecom industry, and that's my identity on a professional front. But on social media and on the YouTube front and Instagram, stuff like that, I am generally someone who considers myself to be an artist and a reader. Now, I do dabble in writing as well, but I'm not like a continuous writer. Like, honestly, one day maybe I'll be able to call myself a writer, but at this point of time, I identify myself as an artist. You can check out my art on Instagram, by the way, just a subtle way to promote my art side of things, and reader. And that being said, the reason I'm giving you this example, it'll be clear like in another 1 minute. So whenever someone asks me about my art, I generally am like, okay, you know what, this is my art. I don't have a particular style I follow, although I love painting a lot, and I do like anything and everything in art. And for me, art is like a part of my relaxation, it's a part of fun for me, and I consider art to be a very, very I would say therapeutic part of my life, because I'm a very creative person in general, and keeping it all in there is not easy. So I have to throw it out somewhere, and art helps me with it a lot. So if you tell me tomorrow that I'm not painting like Monet, or I'm not like, painting like the big impressionist artists that I look up to, because I really love impressionism in general, then I'll be just like, yeah, I don't paint like them, and I don't even want to improve my art as such. Like, I would like to consider my art to be something that I do purely out of fun. And art for me is not like a challenging factor. I don't want to become a better artist. In general, like, if given a chance, maybe yes. But like I said, art is something I just do for fun, and it's something that I just feel like, wow, like, it's amazing, and I admire it a lot. So, but when it comes to books, like I said, right, with books, it's more like I love books. Like, books are always like my first love. I pick my books with care. I do not read like a certain genre of books if I don't like it. I am very much like stringent with my choice like that. And I'm also, I won't say I'm quick to DNF, but then I would be ranting about books that I hate, and it's like been a continuous thing, because for me, reading is fun, reading is what I love, and reading is what I want to kind of improve in, because it kind of gives me a lot of perspectives. So, the reason I explained all of this, right, because maybe in your life, reading will not be that kind of thing. Like, just like I described art like to be fun and therapeutic, maybe reading like that is for you, therapeutic, fun and stuff like that, and maybe you do not want to like apply whatever I tell you in your reading life at all, and that's totally fine, because I'm not a gatekeeper, I'm not like an elite reader at all. I just read whatever the fuck I want to and whatever I want to read, and I'm the one to tell you that you should not read a certain type of work. Okay, like that's the point. If you feel like this video is not helping you, it's completely fine. It may help someone else, and maybe, you know, I hope there are videos out there which will help you as well. So that's like a big disclaimer, because I wanted to give you that example to make you understand that I understand people who consider reading to be fun, but if you want to like improve and challenge your reading life, then you need to watch this video. But otherwise, if you're happy with your reading life and you're like just picking up, you know, books that make you happy, then also good. You are like living your life and it's like an amazing world. We live, you know, people are different, things are different, the way people look at things is different. So that being said, let's move on to the important part of the video, where I talk about this particular point which says how to become a reader who picks up challenging books. So whenever I say the word challenging, it basically kind of, let me just put this in context, right? So for example, when I read A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mistry, which is a great work of literary fiction, I kind of realized a lot of things. So this book is about 4 individuals, 2 of them who are Dalits and who are from rural areas in India, and 2 of them are you know, privileged people, Parsis, I would say, privileged Parsis, who have had the money, but they have also faced hardships in their life. So when I read about all of these 4 characters thrust into the emergency period in India during 1975, it actually propelled me to read more about the emergency, because I was not born during the emergency, right? And it kind of like propelled me into this whole rabbit hole where I was researching about the emergency, I was, you know, reading more about it, and also I even ended up buying a non-fiction book which described the emergency and the policies during the emergency period. And that being said, that's kind of what I mean by challenging. Basically, when you pick up a book, it should make you think about like the society, it should make you think about your place in the world, and it should make you kind of realize your privilege, and also make you identify like other people's privilege as well. Like this is like very contextual with respect to the book, but I'm just trying to give you an example of what I mean by challenging, because there is this very famous Murakami quote as well, right? It's something on these lines. It says something like, if you read like books that the other people have read, then you're basically like thinking like other people. And I really believe in that, because until a point of time in my life, I used to read a lot of mainstream content, and later on I had this kind of figure in my life. Actually, she was one of my ex-colleagues, and she was like much elder to me, a much more experienced reader, and she taught me this thing that, you know, this was her policy, right? That whenever she reads a book, she makes sure she picks up a book that kind of changes her thought process and kind of changes her life. She would not read genre fiction at all. Not that genre fiction is a bad one, it's just that she was a reader like that. And I kind of implemented what she was trying to say in my life, and I really loved it. Because before that, I used to maybe just read like one literary fiction or one contemporary fiction, or fiction that makes you think in general, like one per year. And I used to read a lot of genre fiction. Now when I say genre fiction, it's mainly thrillers, romance, this, that, this, all that stuff, you know, gets under the genre fiction umbrella. And of course I still read genre fiction. It's not like I don't read genre fiction, okay? I still read genre fiction. I still am open to reading a lot of books under genre fiction as well, and I know like my tastes in general with respect to reading. So it's just that when you are reading a lot of books that kind of only reflect what is kind of mainstream, then you are not doing anything different per se. And of course it's on you whether you want to do the different part of it or not, because again, this is very subjective. But then if you really want to do different things, then you have to read different books, and I am kind of the living example of it, because I do that. For example, I think one of the most famous books that I've spoken about in 2020 is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. And I really loved that book because it gave me so much of insight into mental illness, into suicide, depression, into a lot of things, that it just made me realize that okay, cool, this is how things are. I need to read more on this particular topic. And that kind of, changes my mind, that kind of changes my thinking process. So basically, like, the only reason why you should actually read like challenging books or better books is simply so that you can improve your own life. You can kind of, open new avenues in your life to think about certain things that you've never thought about before. And again, books are the window to the universe. Okay, I mean, I know it says soul, but then books are the window to the universe, and then the universe gives you a message, and then you have it, you have the message, and then you can think about it. And that's the whole thing, that's the whole thing that we're talking about here. And also, one more thing that I do want to add in this particular situation is this, that many people think that fiction, okay, now this is a very, very wrong notion that I've heard a lot, and it especially comes from readers who don't read much. They are just like once in a year book reader or something like that. Many readers or many non-readers believe that reading non-fiction or reading self-help will help them improve their lives like 10 times. And I'm not going to deny that, because it's on the person whether they want to read self-help or not. But then stating that only self-help or only reading non-fiction will help your life is completely wrong. You have to adopt fiction, because fiction is actually a form of non-fiction. For example, one of my not so favorite Booker winners this year, called Shuggie Bain. The reason this book was actually written was simply because Douglas Stewart's mother, who's Agnes, and Agnes is also Shuggie Bain's mother in the book, was an alcoholic. And basically in his speech after he was declared the winner, he basically said this, that I have to thank my mother because she is there in every page of the book. And that's how writers get inspiration. I mean, in this case it's a sad story for the author for sure, but then the point is that he put that particular experience in a fictional story. And it's very, very common, right, for writers to find inspiration in non-fictional elements and to spin it into a story which is much, much kind of, I would say, not a better is not the correct word, but a more enhanced version of their experience. Yeah, enhanced is the word. So that being said, you should not make any kind of judgment. Like, if you are a person who says, oh, you know what, you should only read non-fiction and you should not read fiction, again, that's like the worst thing to say, and you, my sir, are 100% wrong, and you can just fuck off. But the point is, non-fiction has a lot of elements in it. Sorry, fiction has a lot of elements in it that you won't find in non-fiction. So that's how it is. And yeah, so this is that segment where I was explaining this, and now let's move on to the next segment where I actually tell you how can you read like more challenging books in your life. So let me start with this thing, like now this depends on which level are you as a reader. Like, if you're someone who does not read books at all, then maybe starting with a mainstream book makes more sense, because people may not believe this or people may not tell you this, but there are levels to reading. Okay, so basically, if I would have read like a certain book when I was 20 years old, I may not have liked that book, but now that maybe I'm like a few years older, maybe I would like that book. So it's basically a trial and error situation. And that being said, the number one thing that you should remember is what value addition do you want in your life. Like, for me, the value addition that I know that I want currently is to understand more about Indian history and understand more about the partition, understand more about medieval history, ancient history. And I also tend to follow quite a few social media profiles which are history based, like Indian history based ones. So I know what I want at this point of time with respect to my upping my thinking process. So as a result, I read Rebel Sultans by Manu S. Pillai because I wanted a better understanding of medieval history, which this book provides beautifully. And also it all kind of helped me, even like reading books about the partition and stuff like that are things that I really, really do these days because I want to understand again more about history. And I do all of this via non-fiction books generally, because non-fiction books I've realized in India are great. And whenever you talk about non-fiction in India, not people like gravitate to again self-help and stuff like that, but there are a lot of non-fiction books in this country that you have to like devour, and you cannot just like leave it just aside. So yeah, it comes down to this particular point that what do you want to learn about today? Like, get up and ask yourself, okay, so what do I want to learn about today? If you say, okay, I want to learn about African history, or I want to learn about slavery, go to Google, type in books about slavery, and then you will get a plethora of books. You'll get a plethora of books which state, okay, this is like slavery, this is maybe literature from Ghana, this is literature from Zimbabwe, this is literature from here, there. So that's how you check out books. That's exactly how you learn how to check out books. Another example is like, for example, I read This Mournable Body by Tsitsi Dangaremba, and this is the third installation in the whole Nervous Condition series. Now, I have not read the first two books, and I want to read the first two books because the first two books talk about the war in Zimbabwe, and it kind of puts a fictional character called Tambudzai Siguwake in that particular situation. So basically, I want to learn more about the war in Zimbabwe, and I want to know why the war occurred. So I would prefer reading Nervous Conditions and the whole series in order to understand more of it. That being said, after you read Nervous Conditions, or example, you read like an African book, like a series, you're like, okay, fine, I read about it, but I want to do more reading on this particular topic. So then you move on to like the internet, and again, we are blessed to have the internet. Like again, Google, which are the books that I prefer reading, blah blah blah, and then the internet will give you more books, because the point is that there's no dearth of readers in this world, right? Like there are a lot of readers, and Google also helps you a lot in this particular case. The only thing is you need to know what are the right questions that you need to ask. And that being said, also one more thing that you should do is reject mediocrity. I mean, if you are someone who is planning to read challenging books, if you want to pick up some mediocre book, by mediocre I mean books that are not well written, or books that do not add value into your life. Like I do have a lot of books in my bookshelf that don't add much value into my life, so I do tend to read them like occasionally, but then maximum I try to pick out books that have value addition in my life. And basically with respect to that topic, right, with mediocrity, that everybody's writing a book today. Like every person in India or in the world is publishing one or the other book. Like if I just pick up a random 10 people from the street, like at least one of them has like published or self-published a book. And this is the reality. Like internet makes things so accessible that today you can even pay publishing companies money in order to publish your book. And that's how people become authors, and that's how people become writers. And if you really want to improve your reading, then the number one thing you should do is not read books that are mediocre, not read books that do not have any value addition in your life, not read books that you would rant about later on. It's a different story if you kind of did not know the book was bad and then later on you rant about it. Like that's genuine. But if you go into book knowing that, okay fine, this I think would be a bad book, let me just read it and rant about it, I mean you can do it, it's not like you cannot do it. But then the point is that don't adopt mediocrity. Okay, like that's the number one rule. If you want to like become a reader who reads more challenging books, you have to say no to mediocrity and say that, okay, you know what, let me pick up something that is out of my comfort zone. And it's as simple as that. So yes, so we spoke about one, how to select the books, or how to like search for the topics. Two, how to basically go ahead and reject mediocrity. And my third topic would be stay in the loop. Okay, now if you're a serious reader, you have booktube, you have a lot of books, like you have a lot of people around you who read books. Like I don't have much people around me who read books, so I depend on booktube, and I tend to follow those people who kind of recommend books that I think would be interesting to me, and maybe it may not be interesting to you, but then I have kind of found my kind of niche booktubers who kind of like recommend me stuff that I would enjoy for sure, or things that are out of my comfort zone basically. And it kind of is just like I would say self-explanatory, because again the internet is a beautiful place and you'll find a lot of people, and in the end what you want to do is find the correct people to recommend you a book, or find the correct people who you think have similar reading choices as yours. Again, it's not a compulsion, it's something that you can do in order to get more recommendations, because not every time you can go on the internet and type, okay, this is what I want to learn about and what book should I read about it. Of course you would like get into a rabbit hole the moment you do that, but then my point is you need that kind of active network, or you need to follow an active network of people who prefer reading books like you in order to get recommended the books that you practically read. Again, I have an example which is very booktubey, of course. For example, there's a lot of influx of YA fantasy and YA booktubers in the community, and they're like perfect, they are cool. So whenever I want like YA recommendations, like I read Radio Silence, I read Clap When You Land, The Poetex, because of these people. So whenever I want YA recommendations, I just pop onto their channel and watch what they're recommending, and then search more about it on Goodreads and the internet, and then I see whether I like it or not. But if I want to like know more about literary fiction and contemporary fiction and like the latest books in that particular genre, then I generally tend to follow the Booker Prize, or the National Book Award, or the JCB Prize also. And also I also follow the BookTube Prize, which is like a total BookTube Prize as well. So the point is you need to select your network, you need to select your crowd where you can like actually get your book recommendations from. And more importantly, you have to keep an open mind, because not all books that they recommend would be like something you like. For example, The Overstory by Richard Powers is a critically acclaimed book. It's apparently a beautiful book, and I did find it beautiful, but I did not like it. But the point is, this is like a Pulitzer Prize winning book that I did not like, and that's totally fine, right? Because the point is, if someone recommends this on their channel, I'm okay with it. Okay, cool, that's not my type of book. What is the next book you want to recommend? Like, that's the next question I automatically ask in my brain. So yeah, that's it. Again, let me recap this once more in this 10-minute clip that I shooting currently. The first one is Google. Whatever topics you want to learn about, like be it African literature, Indian literature, whatever you want to say, just put it on Google and just say books related to these, and then you'll get a series of articles and a series of books that Google will provide you that you can refer to. That being said, the second thing that you need to do is reject mediocrity. I think the best way of rejecting mediocrity in general is to kind of avoid reading mainstream books, or books that you think are not going to add value in your life. And maybe you can read it, it's not like you cannot read it, but then again, it's on your priorities whether you want to read it at that point of time or later on. Like for me, I always kind of read like one I would say genre fiction, like once in 2 months, or like once in a month, like whenever I feel like it, whenever I feel like I need a palate cleanser, and that's how I work. But then you can do this trial and error kind of thing and understand where do you want to place your mediocre books. And the third one being that find your own network, right? Find your own network of people, find your own network of booktubers, bookstagrammers, whatever you prefer, and find those people who you think recommend good books to you and would recommend books that would add value into your lives, and then kind of read this whole, kind of read it according to it. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, I've been rambling for like straight 11 minutes now, and actually more than 11 minutes. But that being said, I hope you like this video. This was my attempt to explain this kind of phenomena on how to become a better reader, again very subjective, or more importantly, how to pick up books that are out of your comfort zone, and how to pick up books that kind of add value into your life and add that kind of thinking into your or add new ideas into your thinking process. So that's how I do it. You can do it your own way. I don't mind having a discussion in the comments regarding this, because it's a very interesting topic for me, because I generally do not tend to read mainstream books. I kind of avoid mainstream books and then later on read it when the hype is like totally gone. And it's just that not all mainstream books are bad. For example, I read The Kite Runner late in my life because I did not read it when it was hot and happening. But then when I read it, I felt like, okay, this is like one mainstream book that I really really loved, and it is like one of my top 5 books of all time. So yeah, things like that, right? I mean, I hope this made sense. I hope that made sense and stuff like that. Okay, anyway, that's it. Yes, let's have a discussion in the comment section and what do you think about the video, and I will see you next time. Bye.